Hold on a second. I have to still get a green screen on here because I want to. I am an actor. I am an actor. I.
Switch accounts so I can go get your very own cash app on you.
God damn, I need to delete so many of these fucking pictures. You know it? I am an actor. I am an actor. I am an actor. I am an actor. What's up, America? Okay, there. So we got some background music on. It's not Judas Priest, but what's up, America? What's up, Wanda, Teresa, Renee? What's up, Tasha? How you doing there, kid? All right, so this is a little bit better. We can actually say the word weed and gun and shit stick and all this other stuff here. What's up, America? How you doing, my friends? How you doing, everybody? What's up, America? Yeah. So I'm hoping that YouTube will be just as good. I'm sure it will. Lighting's a little rough. I probably need that ring cam up there. What's up, Marine? How you guys doing, everybody? What's up, America? What's up, Georgia? What's up, what's up, what's up? We are going to read the news of the day and do it like real men here and not a bunch of little fucking dumbasses. Like over on TikTok. Jesus Christ. What a bunch of fucking dumbass pussbags. I have never seen such a grabastic group of... I swear to God. Oh my fucking God. What's up, America? Can I tell my story about Guy Meltdown later? Yes. So let's get that saxophone on the background. Let's go. The news of the day. You guys ready for the news of the day? TikTok is a shit show, man. I don't know what the fuck what their problem is, but they have some real dangerous problems. And I gotta tell you, I don't really want to go over there for a while. Bob Dole. Thank you, Mabel Cat. So let's get into the tariff news and let's move on. And we'll talk about Donald Trump blowing Bill Clinton, possibly, according to the emails. That's a fucked up one. At the end of the news in my government, when we talk about that, I'll show you the emails. So on TikTok, we have to worry. It might say some offensive things. Here I can just zoom in and show you because YouTube's not a douchebag. So, in a stapler. Trump cuts tariffs on beef, coffee, and other food as inflation mounts. Tariff rollbacks include beef, tomatoes, bananas. We're not going to chief that first?
Oh my God, someone switch because I have to close the door. I'll be back in.
Well, here, let me see the pen real quick. Or a lighter.
Well, I have to take my lighter away.
Well, hand me that orange one.
So you don't want the pen?
Nah, just give me the orange one. That'd be all right. I'll just cheat this real quick. All right, sorry about that. I'm talking to my hot-ass wife. So Donald Trump rolls back tariffs on beef, tomato, bananas, coffee, trade deals with Argentina, Ecuador, Guatemala, and El Salvador to eliminate tariffs. Democrats are criticizing Trump for inflation linked to tariffs. Reuters is reporting, I doubt that happened. Reuters is reporting that Donald Trump on Friday rolled back tariffs on more than 200 food products, including coffee, beef, bananas, orange juice, coffee. There's not a full list. I can get you a full list if you want me to. The new exemptions, which took effect retroactively midnight on Thursday, mark a sharp reversal for Trump, who has long insisted that sweeping import duties earlier this year would not fuel inflation. Well, quote, they may have in some cases raised prices, Trump said of his tariffs when asked about the move aboard Air Force One on Friday, but he insisted that overall the U.S. has virtually no inflation. I call bullshit on that. Democrats have won a string of victories in state and local elections in Virginia, New Jersey, New York City, Mamdani. Also, Seattle has a socialist mayor now. What's up, Mag? How you doing? Just so you know. And that's what that is. Democrats have won those victories because of high food prices and affordability in the United States. Donald Trump also told reporters aboard Air Force One that he would move forward with a $2,000 payment to lower and middle income Americans for $2,000 that would be funded by tariff next year sometime. So now we have a timeline here. So now they're saying next year sometime, which is the same timeline they were talking about anyway. So I don't see a big fucking push here. The tariff allows us to give a dividend if we want to do that. Now we're going to do a dividend, and we're also reducing the debt. I don't want the debt reduced. I want you to give the dividends to Americans. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why we're paying down the debt. Like, if you want to raise the value of the dollar, fine. Thank you, Bertie. But we got to lower the value of the debt by 90% if that's going to happen. And we're not going to do that. So, oh, God, go fuck. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm reading the news from Reuters. I'm not talking. Reuters is, you fucking dumbass. So just so everybody knows, I'm reading Reuters news. So I'm not talking for me. I'm reading the news, you fucking idiot. So if you have a problem, go bitch at Reuters. Stupid motherfucker. God, this is why I hate you people. Not you. People like that. Anyway, Trump also told reporters in Air Force One that he would move forward with $2,000 payments, but it wasn't going to be till next year. The Trump administration announced a framework trade deal on Thursday that, once finalized, will eliminate tariffs on certain foods and other imports from Argentina, Ecuador, Guatemala, El Salvador, with U.S. officials eyeing additional agreements before year's end. Friday's list include products consumers routinely purchase to feed their families, which have seen double-digit year-over-year price increases, including 200 items. Now, I want to see the 200 items, ranging from oranges, acai berries, to paprika, cocoa, chemicals and food production, fertilizer, even tariffs removed on communion wafers. The White House is, in fact, sheet on the order said it came on the heels of significant progress the president made in securing reciprocal terms for our bilateral relationships. It said Trump decided certain food items could be exempted since they were not grown and processed in the United States. Gee, what a fucking surprise. So, there's that. Ground beef, as of the latest, was 13% more month over month, according to Consumer Price Index. And steak was 17% more than a year ago. Increases for both were the largest in more than 3 years, since, of course, Joe Biden was president. Dating back to inflation was nearing its peak under Joe Biden. Although the United States is a major beef producer, a persistent shortage of cattle has kept beef prices high. Banana prices are about 7% higher, while tomato prices are 1% higher. Overall cost of food consumers at home were up 2.7% the next month. We'll get to Trump's emails at the end of the stream. So right now I'm going through the news. Today's actions should help consumers whose morning cup of coffee will hopefully become more affordable, as well as U.S. manufacturers which utilize many of these products in their supply chain, blah, 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 blah. So Donald Trump is rolling back tariffs on these items, a lot of them. So that's a fantastic thing in some cases. And I'll get a list of those, and then we'll move on here. Blah, 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 blah. What we have, tariffs being reduced. Meats, so beef, lamb, goat meat, poultry, chicken thighs, and turkeys. Tariffs will be removed on those. Tropical fruits, bananas, oranges, pineapples, avocados, coconuts, papayas, mangoes, plantains, acai berries, and passion fruit. Those will be removed also, the tariffs. We have vegetables and juices, Tomatoes, tomato juice, oranges, orange juice, pineapple juice, vegetable mixes. No tariffs on those. Coffee, cocoa powder, beans, black, green tea, herbal teas, coconut water. Tariffs removed on that. Spices from India, including cinnamon, nutmeg, pepper, vanilla bean, ginger, turmeric, cloves, paprika. Nuts, cashews, almonds, sesame seeds, chia seeds, and other varieties. Tariffs were removed on those. Rice, that's pretty big. Cornmeal and cassava, you have tariffs removed on those. Coconut milk, oil, and coconut oil, palm oil, and soy alternatives, tariffs removed. Communion wafers, honey, communion wafers are cheaper. Communion wafers, well, that's what they're saying, Marine. At least that's what Trump said. So communion wafers, canned fruits, fruit purees, and spice blends, though tariffs have been removed on those. Fertilizer, phosphate-based food-grade chemicals like citric acid, and cocoa butter, tariffs have been removed on that. So, the total is around 200 items, and it's looking like the United States citizen on average will save $1,200 per household. So, $300 to $500 annually on groceries, the rest coming from less taxes being paid. So there you go. I'm not exactly sure how that's calculated like that, but that's what Reuters is telling us. So whatever's clever. No, I just left TikTok because I'm fucking about over it. TikTok's full of a bunch of douchebags and psychos.
Of course, so far YouTube's not proven to be much better.
Why? What do these fuck faces do?
Stupid.
It's like I was reading the newspaper and they're like, oh, you're fucking. I'm like, okay, dude, whatever. Trump threatened a $1 to $5 billion lawsuit over the BBC, faking stories of him. And as you know, Donald Trump is now calling for an investigation between people, this is fucked up, between Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, as well as J.P. Morgan Chase. So, it's funny coming that Trump's names are in all these emails, but I digress. We'll get onto that later. Even though, fuck liberals generally. Trump withdrew the IRS's top lawyer nomination, signed an order scrapping Biden-era cash payments for delayed flights up to $775. So now there's not going to be cash payments if your flight's delayed? Why is he doing this shit? Why is Trump doing all this stupid shit? Like now he's going to make it so you can't get compensation if you miss your flight? It's fucking ridiculous, man. Security ramps up at Mar-a-Lago with flight path change at Palm Beach. Foreign policy, Trump had offered Argentina $20 billion more via the Exchange Stabilization Fund during the shutdown, bypassing Congress once again. Scott Bessent's a piece of shit. And thank God you can see that, Dave. Because, am I right? Scott Bessent is garbage. We have news in South America as United States Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth launches Operation Southern Spear, deploying troops, warships, and jets, including the USS Gerald R. Ford near Venezuela, to target narco-terrorists, making a rare military buildup in the region. At least 20 U.S. strikes on cartel vessels have killed 4, but Reuters shows that 51% of Americans oppose action in Venezuela. Am I far right? No, I'm reading the news. I'm a conservative social libertarian. So, be that as it may. And you say, well, those are opposed to each other. Yep, they certainly are, aren't they? I'm an enigma wrapped in a mystery. What do you got to do? Anyway, let's continue. Anyway there, children. Yellow fever and dengue cases are exploding across South America due to mosquito proliferation, With outbreaks in Ecuador and beyond, Brazil faces ongoing risks from recent extratropical cyclones. By the way, there's a climate summit in Brazil, and they removed 100,000 trees so that they could build a road so that the elite people could get there to the climate summit. So, yeah, the elite people are fuckbags, and the globalists deserve to be, if you know what I mean. Brazil faces ongoing risk from extratropical cyclones that cause storms, tornadoes, and devastation in Pania and Santa Catarina. Colombia's Ecopetrol plans $6.3 billion in investments focusing on energy. Brazil's tourism shines with the country named 2026 Destination of the Year for beaches, food, and culture. No shit. No shit. It sounds like a good idea. Markets in Europe down 0.9%. As you know, the United States markets down. Also, Donald Trump Epstein touchy diddly files. We'll read that coming up here in a minute. Sudan's civil war escalates. It's the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, keep murdering civilians, killing 49 in North Kordofan just recently, with at least 5,000 being murdered by this group of fuckbags. Donald Trump needs to blow those people up, but I know he won't. China's economy slowed sharply in October. Factory output and retail sales hit over a year low, 2.9% growth below expectations, deepening property woes. Stimulus remains incremental in China. Markets plunged. Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 1.7%. CSI 300 1.5%, and the Nikkei 225 or 1.77% down amid $10 billion foreign outflows from Asian equities due to overvaluation. So there's that right there. So it looks like the Asian markets are starting to slip. Fiji and Pacific nations premiered Changing Waters at COP3 Movie Festival. And a bunch of shit went on, a bunch of sports stuff down in Australia. Severe weather, supercells hit Victoria and Brisbane. It's going to be getting a shitload of rain. And that's what we got going on here. We have problems between China and Australia still meeting through. So now we have the bigger news of the day. Who did? Oh, thank you, Brian's. What's up, Brian's randomness? Thank you, my friend. I don't know. Heart the live stream, I think. I'm used to TikTok. Thumbs up it and heart it, I guess. I don't know how to do it, but I'll show you the Epstein list here in a minute. So share that when it gets to that point a whole bunch. I'm not new on YouTube, but I don't dabble as much here as I should. So still need to learn this, how to do things. As you can tell, my long form videos address Islamic terrorism. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Islamic terrorism is ridiculous. I don't personally care for Islam, and I'm kind of on the Salman Rushdie side of that. So and it's not that I don't like people. I've known a lot of people that are Islamic. I just think that your religion is false, and I think it's bullshit, and I think that the guy in charge of it, or the guy that made it up, I'll not say the name, I think he was a schizophrenic chomo, frankly speaking. That's my thoughts on it. Opinion only, of course. I think he was a schizophrenic chomo. So let's move on. We can go about that for hours. Republicans try to squash Epstein fervor. Instead, they're feeding it, as now they're going to be voting to release the Epstein files. Republicans tried to squash it, protecting Donald Trump potentially, but there could be other things going on. Nodded me when I entered their page for the first time. Instantly blocked thousands. I think I'm pretty badass and gnarly. Yeah, why not? A House investigation that the GOP has tried to use to deflect calls for more transparency has yielded striking revelations that have only fueled the Epstein saga. In September, when Democrats were threatening to jam up Congress by forcing a vote on the Epstein files, GOP leaders devised a strategy to insulate themselves and deliver on President Trump's demand to shut the issue down, which is fucked up in its own right. What's up, America? How you doing, Alton? Rather than facing a vote, many Republicans desperately wanted to avoid on whether the files should come out. That they would pass a measure that directed the House Oversight Committee to continue the investigation into the Epstein case that had been conducting for weeks. They were going to kick it down the road. The move was entirely symbolic. No vote was needed to allow the Republican-led committee to keep up the work that had begun in July. Democrats had managed to force the chairman to issue a subpoena to the Justice Department for the information about the inquiry, into the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. But the maneuver offered Republicans a chance to show their constituents, many of whom were livid at the Trump administration, or that he closed the Epstein investigation without releasing the revelations top officials had promised, that the representatives in Congress were committed to transparency. That was a lie. Thank you, Scott Bessent. The committee's investigation was meant to give GOP some political coverage while holding off a rising tide of pressure on the administration to reveal more about the investigation into Mr. Epstein, who died in prison in 2019. However, I know, it's just constant, but it's in the news. However, remember that the government was shut down. That both sides will more than likely be implicated here. So that's just what it is. What's up, America? Yet if the panel's investigation was aimed at easing political pressure on Republicans and Mr. Trump, it appears to have had the opposite effect. The Republican-led committee has, almost in spite of itself, produced a number of striking revelations that have intensified the drumbeat and demand for more transparency and kept attention on Mr. Trump's past ties to Jeffrey Epstein. What's up, America? Oh, you're right. What's up, Nana? In doing so, the panel has helped to box Speaker Mike Johnson into scheduling a vote he's long avoided. Now expected next week on whether to demand the Justice Department release the Epstein files. Thank you, Nana. As you know, though, even if the House says that they'll release the Epstein files, doesn't it have to be passed through the Senate? And then it'll be to Trump's desk and it won't pass? So what are we doing here? That's partly because of how widely the panel casts its net as sought to shift its focus away from the Trump administration's handling of the case. Representative James R. Connor of Kentucky, the Republican chairman of the oversight panel, issued subpoenas that an array of other sources, including for a broad set of documents from Epstein's estate. It was Mr. Comer's subpoena to the estate that led to the release in September of a sexually suggestive drawing and a note that appeared to bear Donald Trump's signature. Of course, you saw all that shit. That Trump said he did not create. The Epstein estate also produced 3 email conversations that Democrats selectively released. On the pyramid, yes, I need to get into that. The pyramid, there's a new entrance. Underneath the pyramids, there's no info yet. But Dr. Hawass says they're going to be releasing something very new, poignant coming up. So I want to find out about this. By the way, I'm smoking this because hemp needs to be legal. And thank you, Nana. Touch grass. Dude, I've been out all day. Get the fuck off my live stream. Dude, touch grass. It's like, are you stupid or something? Do people have brain damage? Is that what it is? You have brain damage. I understand. It's the, no, I'm married to a woman. She's my moderator, by the way. Well, my moderator, my wife just hid you, so go fuck yourself. They were contained in the trove with tens of thousands more pages of document. Oh, shit. I almost burned myself. Thank you, Nana. That Republicans released soon after, which only have increased scrutiny on Mr. Trump. What's up, America? So that's what we're doing there. Sorry. Now, Trump weighs Venezuela strike as U.S. forces prepare for attack order. Now, I do hear that Donald Trump's supposed to be talking. What's up, Allie? But I haven't heard anything. What's up, my friend? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chairman General Dan Kane returned to the White House on Friday for a second consecutive day of deliberation centered on potential military action in Venezuela, as U.S. forces in the region prepare for possible attack orders, according to people familiar with the matter. I can't help it. It remains unclear if President Donald Trump has decided to pursue such an escalation through high-level discussions or whether to strike Venezuela. And now, have been underway for days, these people said, speaking on condition of anonymity because the matter is highly sensitive. Also joining the White House meeting where Vice President J.D. Vance was, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. These people said, I can tell this is written by an AI. The White House spokesman declined to comment. The Pentagon press office did not respond to comment to the MSN.com, and the White House spokesman declined to comment as well. The administration official said a host of options has been presented to the president. Trump's very good at maintaining strategic ambiguity. So far, he is. What's up, America? It's just green. It's not like I have cancer or anything. India. I don't know, man. I don't have a problem with India. So, I don't know what the deal is with that. Scientists pull RNA from mammoth to recreate one, so they're going to clone a mammoth. Very nice. Very good. Well, hold on a second. Okay, so listen to this. Donald Trump orders an investigation of Bill Clinton and others, but then assigns Pam Bondi as the prosecutor. It is just green. It's green in concentrate. That's weed in concentrate. That's what that is. Okay, so real quick, the news is the news. The weather's the weather, and I'm giving it to you when I cough. I want to read my government. So a lot of people out here are like, well, this guy's a piece of shit, or this guy did it. Well, and a lot of you, especially here on YouTube, have no idea who I am whatsoever. Because I'm only on TikTok. I rarely come to YouTube. So I read the news and you think it's just douchebag fuckface. Okay, well, what I want to do is I want to read you my government that I'm trying to form. I'm going to write a book on this, and I want to know if you support this or if you don't support this. Once I'm done smoking this, my lungs will return. It's only because I put a lot of concentrate in this. Hey, they're making hemp illegal, so fuck it. So, all these points I'm going to go through, and I want you to either say if you support it or you don't support it. And if you do or don't, why? I understand you can't we're bringing guests on here, at least unless you use, what's that one, StreamYard or whatever. Maybe you should put that out. I put way too much in there. That's fucking killing me. All right, I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out. Thank you, Mabel Cat. All right. I'm putting it out. See what happens when I smoke too much green? What did he say? That's your choice?
I don't support killing my lungs. I'm like, well, that's your choice. This is
It's a long story. Thank you, Nana. So let's talk. The first point for my government. This is something I made up. So I have a Word document with different points on it that I made up, and I'm going to write a book to try to form a government. So let's talk about it. If it sucks, let me know. And if it's good, let me know. So point number 1 is term limits. Now that goes with point number 2, which I'll read in a minute. Term limits, 2 terms only, and that's it. That's it. Doesn't matter. President, Vice President, Congress, Senate, Supreme Court, All of it. No more appointing the Supreme Court elected. Term limits. 2 terms and you're gone. So you can do 1 Congress and 1 president. Then you get the fuck out. 1 Senate, then 1 president. Get the fuck out. And that's what it's 2 terms. That's it. Get the fuck out. Point number 2 is end lobbying. Totally end lobbying. Get rid of it totally. It's legalized corruption. So, if you have term limits, which means that people can't stay in office for 1,000 years, and then no lobbying, that means you don't have long-term corruption and you don't have douchebags that won't get the fuck out of the way so that you can go and take their position over. No, we're going to decriminalize it. It's up to the states. The federal government has no stake in weed, but we'll get to that point later. Point number 3 is ending the IRS and income tax for anybody making under $150,000 a year. That means the ultra wealthy would pay the remainder of the tax. So if you say, well, I have the ultra wealthy, the top 1,000 wage earners in America will pay the difference. Everybody making under $150,000 a year will pay absolutely no income tax. Oh yeah, by the way, veterans get to pay no income tax as well. Yes, alcohol's trash. Exactly. That's why I use weed. Point number 4, end property taxes. How can you ever have your house owned all the way if you pay property taxes? You're literally paying for the property. You own the house after a 30-year mortgage, but then you keep paying every year on property taxes. But then in Illinois, you're paying $12,000 to $15,000 a year. So within 8 or 9 years, you're paying $100,000. So you're paying a third of the value of the house on property taxes in almost a decade. So what are we doing here? You should own the property under your house. End property taxes. You can offset that by the government's investment in small business. We'll get to it. Point number 5, no food tax. No tax on food. Any tax on food should be illegal. Totally. And then after that, you should give health incentives so fat people will lose weight if possible. So you get maybe slightly off on certain types of things, or you get a fucking rebate of some kind, only very small, if you go from being fat to skinny. That would help out as far as health is concerned. Speaking of health, point number 6, health insurance companies would have to accept at least 90% of doctor recommendations, excluding cosmetic surgeries. So that's the percentage they don't get to. So if a doctor says you need heart surgery, you're giving them heart surgery. This isn't about profit, you greedy fuck faces. We're going to fucking make it better. And you're going to goddamn accept people and give them surgeries they need so they'll live longer, even if you lose money. This isn't that kind of game. You're in the health insurance business. If you want to make money, get in the auto business and fuck people that way. God knows that's where most fucking goes on. Point number 7 of my government, end monopolies nationwide. That also means go after BlackRock and break it up. That means if you have big corporations buying hundreds and thousands of homes, you can't do that. That means BlackRock needs to break up, and all those companies need to have their independent CEOs, not beholden to BlackRock. It'll increase competition, lower prices, and increase quality. The reason the food in America is garbage and people are getting sick and obese from the garbage in your food is because they're making it as cheap as possible for the highest profit margin. But if you take out BlackRock and all the companies are forced to compete with each other, then you get better quality, lower prices, and shit that actually the consumer wants. That's why we do that. So not only that, but you have to just end monopolies as a matter of course. It's actually a law, but people don't do anything about it because we're a bunch of fuckheads and people are greedy. But you can't kill greedy people, so you have to legislate it away. Otherwise, it would be nice to kill greedy people, but you can't. Anyway, uphold the First Amendment. This would be the Charlie Kirk Act. and that would be to make illegal propaganda in your media from our government or foreign governments. That means you wouldn't have American propaganda in the news. It would just be news. And you wouldn't have Israeli or whatever else propaganda in your horse shit manipulating you one way or another. So that's another point there. Hope you liked that. Let's continue. By the way, don't forget to share, heart, and gift. Become a member if you like this. The second Bill of Rights. Now, this is people consider this socialist. I want to know what you think, because we also have an American Dream Act that I'm putting in here. We'll talk about that at the end. The second Bill of Rights is considered an economic Bill of Rights that would be added to our actual Bill of Rights that would give people economic protections because of our prosperity. So these rights are, here we go, the right to a useful job at the industries, shops, or farms in the nation. This will be coupled with government investments in small business, not with fucking big business. Thank you, my friend. The right to earn enough money to provide adequate food, clothing, and recreation. Notice I said recreation. There's a reason. Same thing with food and clothing. You can't work well if you're clothes or if you're naked and you don't have food. You have to have the very basics to live. The right of every farmer to raise and sell your products at a return which will give your family a decent living. The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom from unfair competition, i.e. getting rid of monopolies. That's already a plan I put on my shit. The right of every family to a decent home. I didn't stutter, motherfucker, and I also didn't say that we're going to give every refugee and illegal a home. I said the right of every family to have a decent home. That's what that says, and that's what we're leaving it as. The right to adequate medical care and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health. That's absolutely necessary. If you have a sick society, you don't have a functioning society. If everybody's got diseases and they're fucking uncured and they're walking around sick and in pain, they're not going to work as good. Thank you, Elrark. Thank you, my friend. So you got to do better with that. The next is the right to adequate protection from fear of economic fear of old age, sickness, accident, or unemployment. We have unemployment, but we treat our elderly like shit. The sick get treated like garbage. And if you have an accident, you'll basically be one step away from homelessness. We got to do better. We're the richest nation in the world. Let's pull our head out of our ass. Rich people have, the rich 1,000 people have way too much money. And we all know that. And the right to a good education. Well, how are we going to pay for that? Hey, your tax dollars already pay for it, dumb fuck. Yeah, I hope you know that. Your tax dollars already pay for public university. Oh, how are we going to pay for it? Yeah, and you don't need to be getting $50,000 student loans either. You need to be getting maybe $10,000 after 4 years and cut it off. If you want loans for a private university, you can go get that yourself, and you can go fuck your own life up. But we need to make this $50,000 degree loan bullshit go away. College should be cheaper. It's paid for by your taxes. These people are just money. They're money men. They're just making money off of your people because you have to have the piece of paper to advance in life. Well, I need to get that piece of paper. Let's charge Joe Blow 50 grand when it could be 4 grand. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. So that's what the second Bill of Rights is. And that's part of it that needs to be done. So let's continue. Now, point number 10 of my government, the wealthy companies would have to hire at least 60% American labor and bring factories 60% back to America, or you would not be able to register as a U.S. company. You would have to register as a country's company that you have most of your workforce in and be subjugated to tariffs from America. So like Apple, you have 80% of your workforce in China. You can register as a Chinese company. And then what we'll do is we'll tariff you. Oh, you don't like it? Bring the jobs and factories back, you dipshits. Anything else is treason. That starts to bring back jobs that were taken out with NAFTA and eventually jobs that went to China and Vietnam. If you don't believe that, just ask Apple, Nike, and Adidas. All made China and Vietnam. Absolutely. How about John Deere? Good American company? Nope, it's in Mexico. Anyway, standards and practices laws. This would be a department in the government called the Department of Standards and Practices. This would be a department in the government that roots out planned obsolescence in your products and also stops scamming and brings scammers from their home country into the United States to prosecute them. So like Indian call scammers, we would work with India to go arrest those fuck faces, bring them here and put them in jail for 30 years. Or the other one in the standards department is if you say like, oh, we make a product that's a piece of shit, so it'll break. So you have to buy it to break to buy it to break to buy it, right? Well, then what you can do is we will put that to the standards and practices department. They'll sue you and force you to make the product better. That would help too. So, for instance, my Volkswagen that I drive, the coolant reservoir is made out of plastic, and it's right near an engine block. So, over a couple of years, it contracts and heats up with the cooling and heating of the engine. So, of course, the reservoir will crack and start leaking. Was up the right stuff? That means that was made to break on purpose. It's called planned obsolescence. So what we need to do is take that and say, this is made to crack. It's a plastic thing that's made in an engine. It's an internal combustion engine that gets 600 degrees. Of course, it's going to break. They would review it and say, why is it not made out of metal? They'll say cost. They'll say, we don't care. Force you to make it out of metal so it doesn't break and the products last. We have to have a standard here in America. I used to work at a job site a long time ago, back when the Chinese started sending nails and products over there. And the products went from good American products that lasted and worked to cheap bullshit. And you can see what it's like now because everything is cheap and garbage. Thank you, Mabel Cat. So now this wouldn't be law, but I would like to incentivize the 4-day work week. So the 4-day work week would be you can work 10 4-hour days, maybe even 4 8-hour days, whatever it is. But we don't want people to work 5 days a week anymore. We want you to work 4 days a week so you have a real vacation, a real end of the week, so you have not as much stress. That won't be a law, but if your company does that, we'll incentivize that somehow. Still kind of working on that. But I'd like to see a 4-day work week because I think it lowers the stress level of the overall working population, and they will be more willing to go above and beyond. Absolutely not, Ben. They'll go above and beyond working on the 4 days that they work a week. So if I say, look, I'm going to give you Friday, Saturday, Sunday off totally. You come in, work 4 10-hour days, but you have to work a little bit harder. I'm like, well, that's what the other 2 hours are for, right? Exactly. The next point is ending private prisons. I would like to get rid of private prisons in the United States. End private prisons totally. You can never have freedom as long as you're privatizing jail. So the reason I say this is because where I live, the state made marijuana even a harsher penalty because they couldn't fulfill the contracts of private prisons because the state said that it had to be 90% full. The jails, they couldn't make it. They only made it 80% full. So Mike Pence, that piece of shit, made marijuana more of a penalty and made a law that says you have to stay in jail longer because the private prisons has a contract with Indiana. So that being said, they changed the law to meet the needs of a contract of a third-party corporation. So that means corporations are making laws to keep you in jail longer and working with states to do it. So that's why you end private prisons. I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters. Well, one's in transit. I have one daughter that's 14 in high school. Yeah, I'm married and have children. So I'm doing good. How are you? It's weird of you to assume that. Kind of sounds creepy to me. Anyway, let's continue. I'd like to decriminalize marijuana. It's not up to the federal government. This is a states' rights issue. So the states don't have to sell it at a store. So if Iowa doesn't want to sell it at a store, they don't have to. If Ohio wants their prerogative, but you can't arrest people for weed. That's fucking stupid. So stop doing that. Unless you're black market trafficking weed, then you could be arrested. So if you're making like fake Delta 9 pens or whatever, yes, you can be arrested. Fuck you. But that's making a counterfeit product. That anybody would be arrested. If I was making counterfeit Frosted Flakes and I broke trademark, I'd be arrested too, or I'd have to pay heavy fines. Let's get our head out of our ass. And hello, 21 and older. That's what I don't understand. When they passed a hemp provision when they opened the government, and they're like, well, kids are getting it. I'm like, it's 21 and older, you dumb fucks. There's already, you kids can't have it. Well, kids are getting it. Yeah, they're getting cigarettes and alcohol too. Why don't you make that illegal? Because Mitch McConnell's a fuckhead and looks like a turtle. Oh, okay. Mitch McConnell took $899,000 from the alcohol lobby. What's up, Casey? And then on top of that, you have the alcohol lobby sent the Senate a bill saying we need to get rid of hemp because we're losing money. Because no one wants to drink anymore. Your shit sucks. We don't want liquor anymore. We want weed or opium. We don't want liquor. Liquor fucking sucks. It sucks dick. Okay? Right? Liquor sucks. Like, I would rather be high than drunk any fucking day. Forever. Like, well, just drink some beer. I don't want to. I used to. I don't want to. It fucks with your immune system. I don't like it. But nobody's trying to make fucking alcohol illegal. It's only douchebags trying to make weed illegal. Nobody gives a fuck if alcohol, you can drink. We don't care. So why? Well, we want weed to be legal because it's cutting into sales of big alcohol companies. So fuck that shit. Decriminalize weed. That's the one. I cannot stand Trump's policy on that. We're all about freedom, but then Republicans fuck you up the butt for it. Fucking losers, man. It's about freedom. It's not about God. I don't care if I smoke fucking gasoline. It's called freedom. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, great. You know what? I'm not going to do it because a stupid person would do that. But you know what? Maybe I don't give a fuck. But should cocaine and crack be illegal? No. No, of course not. That's a different thing. Hell yeah, Christ is king. If crack and coke are legal, a bunch of people will die and shoot each other over it. Fucking duh. But if you have fucking weed legal at a store, like here's the difference. If weed is legal at a store, people line up to buy it. If crack is legal at a store, they break in, kill everybody, and steal it. You see the difference? Well, that's duh. Like you don't legalize heroin, crack, coke. Have a brain. Well, weed's the same thing. It's not. It's absolutely not. Weed, hash, any of that. It's absolutely not the same in power or any type of thing as cocaine or any of the other shit. Not even close. And to say anything on the contrary is a bald-faced lie. Say anything on the contrary. Well, it kills people. Yeah, if I smoke anything, it will fuck my lungs up. Well, the leaves, that's different. I'm talking chemically processed. We can get into semantics, but you know what I'm saying. But like if I smoke pine needles, it's just anything that's an inhalable into your lungs will fuck it up. Anything. Dust, smoke, weed smoke, pine needles, fiddler crab dust. It'll all get in your lungs and fuck it up if you inhale something. It's just how it is. But like, these politicians are so stupid. Well, they're not stupid. They're diabolical is what it is. I like to push them off a fucking boat. Fucking Mitch McConnell, you fucking bitch. You old fuck. Why are you even in Congress for whatever for 48 years, 45 years? Get the fuck out of here, you dipshit. Okay, let's continue. Sorry. The next is point number 15 of my government would be the Veteran Housing Act, the Military Mortgage Reduction Act, and the American Dream Act. I'll just put all three together because they're all three in one. So if you serve in the military and you are honorably discharged, you will get a cheaper price for a house and you will get a lower mortgage rate, about 50% off. If you go career, you can have a mortgage rate as low as 0.1%. And the house price would be a little bit off depending. The American Dream Act would say that veterans that complete the military honorably discharged would pay no income tax, and that VA hospitals would have the same care and service as a regular hospital. Also, the pharmacies at the VA hospital, instead of waiting for days and days on end, they would be as quick as Walgreens or CVS by law or by mandate. Maybe even using CVS and getting that type of intergovernment corporate type of mix in it to make sure it happens so that there's no supply chain issues. and I'm still working on that as far as the American Dream Act. But the objective is to incentivize young people to join the military to get a discount in housing. You see what I'm saying? So the young people would join the military. When they're finished, they get a house. They learn cheaper off on all of it. They learn a skill in the military, and then they can go to college, which is paid for by the GI Bill. And then they get married. They do all this other shit. It'll lead to everything. It'll lead to a baby boom. It'll lead to an increase of trade jobs and skills. It'll lead to a boom of people going to college. It's got everything positive written all over it. And you use the military as a catalyst for the American dream. Now, you can, as a civilian, do these too and say that you can get certain things if you complete certain standards. I'll give you 10% off a house, 2% off a mortgage rate, whatever. But it's supposed to be the veterans. Yeah, definitely. The veterans, I think that's what it actually should be there. So, but that's the American Dream Act. Still working on that, trying to wrap it around veterans on that. And I know, is that discrimination? Well, that's just a veterans only situation. So that's what it's there for. It's there on purpose for the veterans to close a lot of loopholes on shit that they're not getting that they're supposed to. There should be no homeless veterans. So there would also be pathways that would segue from homelessness as a veteran up through this program, especially if it involved mental health treatment or addiction and getting you off and clean and sober and then back into the life and then moving into the American dream from the streets. So it would be a long process. There's a lot of moving parts in that, but whatever. We'll continue. Harsh animal cruelty penalties. Point number 16 in my government, up to 20 years in jail for some of the worst animal cruelty cases. Does that sound good? Animal cruelty, harsh penalties, not a slap on the wrist, like something that's, sticks and makes people think twice about fucking your dog up. Yeah, I think we could deal with that. That'd be fun. Point number 18, secure the border so it makes only legal immigration allowed into the United States. Use electronic border measures and also the military, i.e. the American Dream Act. You may be stationed on the border as a guard. That's what it is. But it segues in. You also might be in the Army Corps of Engineers that I would like to expand and then go out and build giant works projects. I'll talk about that here in a second. Well, this goes into it. Point number 19, the build desalinization plants out on the West Coast and fuel water. Damn right, fuel water to Las Vegas, fuel water to Arizona, Southern California, and even have some left over to put some extra into the Colorado River. And we could use desalinization plants for that. I don't really care. We're living in the year 2025. Yes, we can change our environment to the way we want it, and that's what science and technology does. And if you don't like it, then drink the shitty LA water still. Tastes like garbage, and there's not enough of it out there for the amount of people. Unless you don't want almond trees out there. You can stop doing that then. Or alfalfa, quit doing that. Then you'll have plenty of water. Oh, you don't want to stop doing that? Well, we better get desalinization plants in. Otherwise, we're running dry. But Gavin Newsom is a dumb fuck. Well, what about the environment? Well, we're going to be changing it for the better in big ways. So, doesn't seem to matter because we're going to have a big dick here and we're going to whip it right out there and just show our cards. Patriot Institution Act. That would be a law that says if your company or business or institution is basically assisting an adversary and going against the United States, you would be barred from operating in the United States. And that would be that. We would seize your assets and business as a potential domestic or foreign terrorist organization. And for treason in some cases. So there were several IT companies, chip making companies. Yeah, it is, Murray. There were several chip making companies that were giving the same microchips that we use in our military aircraft to China. And so obviously they're treasonous. Well, we were just making money. Well, no, you see, that's for our military. So we need to have contracts saying you'll be committing treason if you do that. Per the Patriot Institution Act. Just another form you can sign your name by. Felons should be allowed to vote and travel if you're not a violent felon and you've gone long enough. So felons should be allowed to vote. There's nothing that says you shouldn't. I don't know the fuck that is. And if you're a non-violent felon for more than, 5 years or so, maybe you should be able to travel internationally. And if you're a non-violent felon, you should be able to own a gun also, but not all of you. So if you killed somebody, you'll never have a gun. If you are a psycho, if you have mental illness of certain kinds, you don't need a gun. If you were arrested for a felony amount of weed when you were 19, and now you're a pastor of a church and you're 45, why can't you have a gun? What the fuck? I mean, really? Well, I was a gangbanger at 19. I got arrested with drugs, but I cleaned my life up and I haven't been involved in a crime in 25 years, and I'm a pastor of a church. Let's let him get a gun. Why the fuck can't you? That's stupid. Well, no, you shouldn't have it for life. It's like, how ridiculous. What nonsense. What nonsense has this country become? It's a totalitarian fuckbag recently, and I'm sick of it. So let's continue. I would like to see a nationwide high-speed rail network that rivals China, where every major city is connected together with a high-speed maglev train system that goes 300 miles an hour. That will also rival the airlines and take them down if they don't fucking do shit to make their business models better. So a nationwide high-speed rail network, Chicago to Seattle, let's say 8 hours, 9 hours. Airplane would be 4 hours. So what, double the time and that's it? Difference is a plane would be $400 or $500. This would be $60 round trip. I guarantee you'll be taking the train immediately, won't you? Yeah, because the airlines are flying fucking buses. But a high-speed rail... So imagine you get on a train in Chicago, And the only stops it makes are Billings, Montana, and Seattle, Washington. That's it. You go, okay, we're leaving Chicago, 300 miles an hour to Billings, Montana, lets out 50 people, 300 miles an hour to Seattle, done. Then you can get on another one, Seattle, all the way down the coast to Los Angeles, done. What, fucking 2 hours? Right? You would have whole groups of people that would be on these trains going all across America just for travel on their day. It would be ridiculous. You could go on your day off and say, I live in, let's say, Indiana, and I could go up to Chicago and back. I could go to Chicago in 20 minutes and back. I could go shopping in Chicago for the day. I could go from here to New York in what? 4 hours? 4 or 5 hours? I could make a weekend trip out of New York City from fucking Illinois, man. We could do that with an airplane. Yes, but airplanes suck dick. And they are trash, and they're flying fucking Greyhounds, and it sucks, and fucking liquor's $12 up there. And on a train, you should be able to bring weed with you. I mean, there's just so much better, and we're cutting ourselves short here because we're a bunch of fucking wieners lately. And we get civilian contractors with the Army Corps of Engineers, and we get the Navy Seabees for any place that's wet and very inundated with. We got all this. We don't need to be doing foreign wars for fucking resources and all this dumb shit. We can, and you say, well, how do we do it? Well, here's what we do, because the biggest problems generally with these are running into either environment or native populations. So you basically say, okay, here's what we're going to do. To the native populations that were going through your land, the United States has so much land that's just ungoverned. Basically, we're going to give you, we'll double the size of your land. We'll just give that to you. You can do whatever you want on it. We'll help you build cities too. We'll connect them. You know what I mean? We'll do that, and we'll make it native-run areas. We don't give a shit. You let us come through this part of land, we'll double the size of your land. Oh, yes. And we'll make it tax-free. You can do whatever you want. You can legalize weed, all that shit. We don't care, right? Govern yourself. We have so much land, who cares? It'll never be farmed ever in 1,000 years. You ever been out to Western Kansas? Ever been out to Western Kansas? There's areas that will not be farmed 1,000 years from now. It's so vast. So why not give that land to the Native Americans? Just say, okay, we'll put this rail line through your territory, and we'll just double your territory. They'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. We'll bring business and tax to your area. We'll figure something out with it. All this would just cost a great deal of money. North Central Kansas. Dude, I've been through Kansas, twice? There and back? I got a story about that. Huh?
And then back again.
And then back again, yeah. My wife can't stand Kansas. It is a big fucking state. Let's continue. The New American Dream Act, I already talked about that. Here's some more poignant ones right here. I would like to make third-party debt collecting illegal in the United States. Third-party debt collecting illegal. So instead of Visa writing off your debt's sold for $20 and they sue you for $5,000. Nope, none of that. Hey, what's up, Mabel Cat? Me, is there a way to boost that live on YouTube? I don't know. I have no idea. It's all about my description and stuff. I probably have to change. Let me see, can I do it? I guess I can't do it. I don't know. You used to be able to change the titles. A long time ago when I used to do gaming on YouTube, I would change the titles. And the titles, I could change them midstream and it would change the viewership. You'd have like 30 or 40 watching. You would change the title. It would go up to 70 if you did it right. But that's all right. I need to start doing it more on here. That's the thing. People don't know me on YouTube because I'm not on here. I just put up videos and run away. So do you think third-party debt collecting should be illegal? It should be illegal to pay $20 or $30 for debt and sue somebody for $5,000, and that guy pays you $5,000. You should only have to pay what he pays for the debt and the court fees. That's it. So that's stupid. Another point would be the Infrastructure Evolution Act. Infrastructure Evolution Act, that would be to increase or evolve the infrastructure in the United States. That would be modern power lines and power infrastructure, modernize our water pipes, modernize the roads. So it's made out of things like Roman concrete. It's like photoluminescent roads that absorb light and glow blue at the nighttime. They have those. We can put those in the asphalt. We can make all the roads kind of have a blue glow to it at nighttime. It'll reduce accidents. You don't have to do all this stupid, thank you, Eric, surveillance and monitoring and shit. You can just use that. Point number 26 of my government, I'd like interest rates on credit cards capped at 10%. Interest rates on credit cards capped at 10%. And make a nationwide usury law. Nationwide, hell yeah, Nana. A nationwide usury law that says, yeah, credit card cap at 10%, and it's a usury law nationwide. So nobody can charge more than 10%. And I know what you're saying. Well, they'll all just charge 9.99%. Well, you still have the market that says if you charge that high, we won't go do it. So it'll increase competition, or hopefully anyway. Point number 27, I would like to redistrict the United States with a new census without the influence of an illegal alien. So I would like to have no illegal alien influence in redistricting. That way it'll change congressional seats and congressional territories eventually. Obviously, point number 28, you must follow the Constitution to the letter of the law. Point number 29 is a Nancy Pelosi law. Government stock trading would be illegal. So if you're into an elected position, you would be barred from buying, trading, or selling stock. So I think everybody should agree with that. If you are a congressman, senator, president, vice president, Supreme Court justice, any of that shit, you should be barred from buying, selling, or trading stock. I think that's the best way to do it because that'll reduce corruption. Retirement age at 60. I think we should lower the retirement age to 60 in the United States. I think we should go after companies that hired illegal aliens. But we also should have a path to citizenship for illegal aliens for permanent residency that are between the age of about 16 and 25, give or take. And the illegal aliens, we have two choices. You can either deport them all, or you can find them and tell them they can stay, but we tax your work at a higher rate. So if you're an illegal alien, we'll tax you at 70%. If you're a permanent resident, we'll tax you at 40%. And if you're a citizen, we'll tax you at our rate. So instead of kicking them all out, we could tax them and make money to pay for the American Dream Act with that money seized off of illegal aliens working. Anyway, we need to thank you, iBurnout. Thank you, my friend. IT Burnout. Thank you. I like that. I don't know any of the gifts on YouTube, so this is mostly new. Some of them I've seen, but most of this is new. I would like to end the surveillance state in the United States. I'd like to end the Patriot Act and de-incentivize people using license plate readers or surveillance, particularly contracts like Ring has a contract with the police that they can just get into your shit. That's real slippery slope for me when it comes to people's privacy and citizen in America. I don't think we need to be doing that. And I would also like to get rid of a bill or a provision called Citizens United. Citizens United is one of the most dangerous fuckbags ever. Citizens United made it so corporations can donate as much money as they want to a campaign. And it also gave corporations human rights. So before Citizens United, I think you could only donate like $3,500. Now you can donate millions. And so if you wonder why only rich, dumb fucks that we all hate are running for office, it's because of Citizens United. Because some little guy like you and me will want to run for office, and then some guy backed by Amazon will come. And then he'll crush you because you don't have any marketing budget, but then they get $10 million. Citizens United, if you get rid of it, it makes it so little people can actually run. This was done during the Bush administration, and these people are dumb as fuck. I mean, they're crooked as fuck. They're not dumb, they're diabolical. Like that. Instead of trying to fix carbon in the atmosphere, we've been hearing constantly, we got to clean the carbon out of the atmosphere. The carbon. I would rather get rid of the Superfund sites in America, clean the water in the land, and then clean the plastic out of the ocean and get rid of the big Pacific garbage gyres. H-1B visas, they take a lot of jobs. So it depends on the situation. It has to be used responsibly. Once again, get rid of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. We need more power. We need to quit being pussies with it. I want to make all forms of weather modification illegal, with exceptions if it's like if you use cloud seeding for a desert during a drought. But weather modification would be illegal. Tariffs without price control is a tax on the Americans. Absolutely. Yeah, even Trump admitted that tariffs were increasing the price on Americans. Now, Kamala Harris wanted to put price controls without tariffs. Donald Trump put tariffs without price controls. So they both are horrible at what they're doing. Trump is less horrible because I think Kamala was a totalitarian, but there needs to be some type of, which Trump is rolling the price or tariffs back because he sees the writing on the wall. And he needs to do that, obviously, and get rid of the tariffs on a lot of the foods and stuff that you buy in your everyday life. But tariffs were actually used as a negotiation tool to try to fend off people that were playing hardball on negotiation. So like if you were dealing with some South American country that was selling bananas and they said, well, we're the only banana producer in the world and we're going to charge you double because fuck yourself. And then you would respond and say, oh, well, you buy all, and I mean all, of this or whatever from us. So what we're going to do is if you're going to do that, we're going to use tariffs on you to make shit more expensive coming here and also going. And then it will kind of fuck with you. And so you're supposed to put like tariffs with an exit tax and all this other shit. But there was a lot that wasn't done here. So I was quite disappointed with some of that. Of course, you'd have to get a lot of that passed through Congress, especially if you had like a product exit tax. You can't just executive order that, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long time in civics, but there's so many idiot back and forths. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the tariffs, they'll be ending those shortly. Sorry I didn't go on TikTok. I'm just sick of people over there. I know people come here and talk shit, but TikTok is fucking weird. Who allows the general public to do that? I mean, you got to admit, I can cuss and smoke on here. Anyway, we need to have common sense abortion laws. So what that says is instances of incest, rape, or if the mother is going to die, you can have an abortion. So you shouldn't have to raise a baby from your fucking uncle. That's fucking weird. That's weird. If you're raped, you shouldn't have to raise a baby as a rape victim. Talk about punishing a fucking victim. And then if the mom is going to die, abort the kid. What the fuck? Try again. I mean, this is science. This isn't, some people get, maybe it's not even sentiment. I understand. But, and then maybe make abortion like 30 to 60 days. You can have it, and then that's it. Anything over, fuck you. And then over-the-counter morning after pill, that's fine. I saw that at CVS the other day. And then everything else, no. So, like, I'm not going to pay for any of that. So, you can pay for contraception. If they want to make a male birth control, go for it. And I think they're actually trying to. My comments are not updating again.
Mine are either.
Really?
What is your last one?
TikTok sucks. Yeah.
Mine too. I think that's the last one.
Government investment into small business, not large business. So I want to get rid of all quantitative easing. This is how we pay for most of this. Is what we do is we take the government money, we invest it into small business instead of large business. And to end barter taxes, if two people agree to trade goods outside economic system, they shouldn't be taxed for intentionally avoiding a corrupt system. It depends on, because if you add adversarial nations with that, they'll circumvent to try to get over on you economically. So, like, you can't allow adversarial nations, like if you're at war with somebody, you can't do anything like that allows them to do anything. And so that gets into a system and a point here where it's like, at what level of national security are we looking at? And at what level do you give a fuck of how and where money comes in and why it comes in? Yeah, it's Oracle now. Between U.S. citizens, I mean, okay. Barter. If it's between the U.S. citizens, no one gives a fuck. Like, I don't know why there should be any of that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, if I sell, like, and another thing, you should be able to gift things without taxes as long as it's not gifting, like, I'm gifting this person all my fortune of $80 billion I hid from the government. It's like, dude, you're going to be taxed on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the very least. But, like, you have to be able to allow people to invest and make a great deal of money without hoarding the money. So, like, the rich, and I'm just going to go on this, the very wealthy and rich here in America, it's a different ball game than it used to be because the rich don't invest in America like they should. Now, everybody can say, well, no, the rich, they've invested $8 trillion since Trump. Yes, they've invested in themselves, their other business partners, and the stock market. They didn't invest in you. They invested in, when they say, well, we put $8 trillion invested in America, most of that money went from corporations coming together, bringing businesses back, and also putting into the stock market and investment. So you didn't see any of that, and you're not going to. Well, these big corporations, they'll just make jobs for us and we'll work. Well, that would be the correct answer, yes, but they don't. What they'll do is they'll invest a bunch of money here, double it, and then build factories in China and hire them. See? That's why I have no sympathy for the top 1,000 wage earners in the United States, because I know your game. And so what you're going to do is you'll say, we're going to invest $1 trillion in Apple. And they'll put a lot of it in Apple stocks, Apple growth, whatever it is. They'll build $200 billion worth of it here in America, and the other $800 billion will be building overseas infrastructure so that they can make shit to sell to us in America. So I don't have sympathy for that. That's treasonous almost. I think so. So let's move on. Point number 41. I would like to have a government or a school security force, a national school security force made up of veterans and retired police officers. God damn it, hold on. Or let me repeat that, sorry. A national school security force made up of retired police officers and veterans to protect the schools nationwide. Bailouts is trash. So with my whole thing with bailouts, quantitative easing to major corporations is fucking ridiculous. In a free market, those businesses would fail. Next, Democratic president. No, I think Gavin Newsom is. So like in a free market society, all these banks would have failed already, and another small business would have risen and taken its place. The problem in America is not necessarily the government investment in business. It's the government investment in large business. Small business is the most important in the United States, but it's not being given a chance to build because of large corporations basically over-dominating, buying them out, and destroying any type of market they have. So I propose, instead of bailing out any large corporation, fuck them, or banks, fuck the Federal Reserve, that's a whole different story. I say that the government works with new business owners and people that want to start a business. Yeah, I read that, Z-Time. We're going to get into those emails here at the end of my government. I'm reading the end of my shit and we're going right into it, so stick around. That'll be fun. Where was I at? Oh, I smoked too much. Oh my God. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, bailouts. What bailouts? Sorry. So what you do is you say, I want to own a business. Okay, what do you want? Here's my plan. I have just a little bit of money and I don't have the money to start it. So here's the government. I'll give you a $50,000, $100,000 business loan. And for the first 2 years, you pay $0. That because most businesses fail in first year. So you don't want that extra incentive. So you take out the loan knowing you have to pay it back. They can seize your assets. And you don't pay for 2 years. That allows you to have capital in the back end in case problems come up so you can survive the dip of that first year in business. And that also makes it so you can drum up a clientele. You see what I'm saying? And then after you say 2 years, you say the third year, you will pay an extra 2% in taxes to start paying off the debt. Then 5%, up to a cap of 5%, plus the payments. And if your business takes off, you won't mind. Yeah, he was a Ugandan Marine. Yeah, that's the fucked up thing. So that will help businesses grow by getting capital, like which they don't have initially, to survive the lull, to gain a clientele, and then if they grow, they can pay more and it won't be a big deal to them. And then they'll get the debt paid off, and then they can replace these large corporations that are bullshit. Like, let me ask you a question. Would you rather shop at Target, or would you rather shop at a small business that later becomes Target and makes it better? I know a lot of people are pissed at Target, so fuck them, let them go out of business, and let's make a better corporation. Starts from Bob's Pharmacy and it goes up to Bob's RX Mega Pharmacy. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'd like to see a digital bill of rights and a right to repair. So a digital bill of rights that protects you online and all your speech as well. And then also a right to repair, where you can send your device no matter what it is, to a third-party source and you can repair it. I would like to make pharmaceutical ads on television illegal. Pharmaceutical ads on television illegal. Underrepresentation in the government. Yeah, well, you see, that's the thing. The government, like politicians, I think politicians are fucked up because politicians believe that they're like a beacon of moral truth. Politicians, in my opinion, shouldn't put their own opinion onto anything. It's what your voters want. So, like, if you're a Republican that gets elected and then 90% of your constituency is okay with gay marriage, then you're okay with gay marriage. Well, I'm against it. It doesn't matter what you are. If 90% wants gay marriage, you're just ignoring them and doing what you want. You're a little dictator. So you have to listen. It's the same with weed. Like the state I'm in, weed's illegal. 80% of the people in the state I live in want legal weed, but 75% of the government votes against it. Why is that? Because they don't represent the people. The people say, I want legal weed. And the government says, yeah, well, fuck you. And it's like, but I elected you to do what I want. I know you did. You're a dumb motherfucker for voting for me. I'm a liar and a piece of shit. Now vote for me again because you know my name. I'm the one that fucked you before, and I'll fuck you again. So keep on voting for me because I got an R or a D by my name. Anyway, I would like to reduce the necessity of credit scores in the United States. I think it's too much. We're relying on credit scores too much. It's ridiculous. What's up, Ika? And we need to reduce that. And then, of course, the last point, I would like to have a database of frivolous lawsuits so that people that are frequent flyers won't be able to keep suing people frivolously. So if you have, let's say you are a person that's falsely made protective, let's say you're a person that made 9 protective orders on people. Now the database would say something ain't right here after 3 or 4. And so you'd have to attend an appeal hearing. So you would say, well, I want to put a protective order on this person. And then you would get something that says you have to attend an appeal hearing. Well, why do I have to do that? You have to explain why you need this. Not just in a normal setting. You've done 4 people. You have 4 protective orders on people. Why do you need a 5th one? Well, this person called me fat. They're like, well, that doesn't need one. You're a fucking lunatic. And so we're going to put denied, and we're going to label you a frequent flyer. So every time you try to do this, we're going to make you attend an appeal hearing over and over and over because we don't trust you. You're taking resources, valuable resources away from the court. And if you do this too many times, like you'll stop eventually. Like you'll stop. If you make 12 frivolous lawsuits and you have to go to an appeal hearing and lose it 6 times, you'll stop doing it, I promise. That would work too, Justin. So real quick, without further dudes, yes, I said it on purpose like that. I want to go on to show you the Epstein emails. Is that okay? You guys cool with that? You down with that? Jay from the Cub Scouts. Excellent page, by the way. You gotta love Jay from the Cub Scouts. And, of course, Danny Gonzalez and Curtis Connor. Why not? Where was this? Epstein Trump. Okay. Let's read this. Marjorie Taylor Greene says that Donald Trump just sent her a bunch of texts. Oh, come on. Okay. Y'all ready for this? I know my wife is, aren't you? You gonna roll that again, honey, since it won't be showing my beautiful, sexy face anymore? Hello there. I'm gonna turn this to this, and then I am going to, no, I don't want to do that. I'm still learning YouTube. I'm sorry. I'm still learning YouTube. Okay, there it is. Now, I want to go where everybody knows your name. So before we begin with the Epstein emails, I want to start with this. This is apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she says, so this was just an hour ago, President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I sent him a text. Apparently this sent him over the edge. The Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example and scare other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. So this is from Marjorie Taylor Greene. So let's read this. It's astonishing how hard he's fighting to stop the Epstein files from coming out, that he actually goes to this level. But really, most Americans wish he would fight this hard to help the forgotten men and women of America who are fed up with foreign wars and foreign causes, are going broke trying to feed their families, and losing hope of ever achieving the American dream. That's what I voted for. I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him, even when almost all other Republicans turned their back and denounced him. It's true, she did. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. I worship God. Jesus is my Savior, and I serve my district, Georgia 14, and the American people. I remain the same today as I did and always have, and I'll continue to pray this administration be successful, blah, blah, blah. So here is the texts of Marjorie Taylor Greene to Donald Trump. No profile pic. Really, the president doesn't have a profile page. Hold on. The president doesn't have a profile pic.
That's not a profile. It's probably from her phone.
Well, maybe, yeah, on a contact, but you can gussy that up. Now, come on. I mean, let's get flashy. Trump's got a gold toilet. And he's got a no face.
Well, that would be her not putting face with it.
Oh, what a bitch then. She sucks then. Anyway, let's continue. Check the flight logs of Epstein's plane. Bill Clinton is on there 26 times. Hillary, too. For many of us, releasing the Epstein files has always been for the women who were victims of Jeffrey Epstein, but also because we believe the Democrat bad guys like the Clintons were entangled and involved with him. Epstein was the spider that wove the web of the deep state. Lean into it. In every single interview I've done, I have defended President Trump. I've said over the women did nothing. Oh, wait, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Democrats had 4 years to release the files, did nothing. Stop ignoring the women. So that was Trump saying it initially. Them being raped as teenagers is not a hoax. So basically, Trump is saying Epstein's is a hoax. Epstein files are a hoax. So then here's some more of the Epstein files here. This is the one. I don't know if you can read that. This is the one that says, let's try to go in here. Recall, I've told you, this is from Jeffrey Epstein to Larry Summers, which is creepy in itself. Recall, I've told you I've met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body, so yes, dangerous. He didn't wreck world and avoided scandal. What's a renumeral say his attitude towards women? Then it says he's in New York City, so I don't really know exactly what that back and forth is. I've heard that there's pictures out there. Now, that's the one that was dropped by the Democrats that was fake and they redid it, or they turned it off. This one right here, this is the Dirty Donald one right here. What's up, America? This one says from Jeffrey Epstein, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers, New York biz people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. It makes no difference whether it was his money, issued a failure to disclose, plus the fact that he had lied his ass off about... Oh, start at the bottom? Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll start from the bottom. Here's the story from the New York Times. I thought you'd find it interesting. The principled case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage. Then it says, I think he makes the argument that it was Trump's money, making it not illegal. Though he also said he only found out afterwards. In fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his account is flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Starr yesterday, RE indictments, how Trump can make a deal with the special counsel. Clinton's trash can. Yes, Starr gave me more. Yuck. It makes no difference whether it was his money, issued a failure to disclose. Plus, the fact that he lied his ass off about it makes it clear he knew it was illegal. Now, the money situation or the women? Because I'm assuming it's the money. Then it says, you see, I know how dirty Donald is. My guess is that non-lawyers in New York City or New York business people have no idea what it means to have your fixer flip. So that looks like that's going to be the beginning of some type of blackmail. And then, of course, here's Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein and some other people. Look how creepy Jeffrey Epstein is. Oh, and with the lip. Did you? Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. Check my music. Hey, hit me up, my friend. I like music. Let's just do one more meet and greet here. Yeah, I've seen this a couple of times. How did this dude traffic so many women? Hey, take it easy, the raging unprofessional. You're the king, my friend. So then we've got, yeah, we've all seen these pictures. And of course, like big groups of people that are wealthy like this. Like I said yesterday on another stream, it gets smaller and smaller. So you run into these people. But now let's see this email right here. And this email right here says, this is from Michael Wolff to Jeffrey Epstein, which is even worse. I heard CNN planning to ask Trump about his relationship with you, either on air or in Scrum afterwards. If we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? If we're able to craft an answer for Donald Trump, what should it be? I think you should let him hang himself. High importance. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, that gives you valuable PR and political currency. So this is yeah, I know. I would love to see a lip reader for that. So this is the email that says that they're going to blackmail Donald Trump.
This would have been right after the election.
Yeah, this is right after the election because what is this? Yeah, December 15th. So this is right after the election. And now they're basically saying that Trump's going to go on an interview and they were going to use political blackmail because if Trump says he was not at the house with Epstein, that would give Epstein political currency. It says it right there. You can hang him in a way that generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. So you see how these people work here? So this is Michael Wolff and Jeffrey Epstein talking about blackmailing Donald Trump, gaining political currency or a political debt to have sway over him because he knew that Jeffrey Epstein was raping kids. That's what it looks like to me. So the bigger question is how much did Donald Trump know? Then, of course, here's the ones. This is what the Democrats said. Realize that the dog hasn't barked in Trump. Now, this was back in 2011, saying the victim spent time at my house. He has never once been mentioned. So basically saying Trump spent time with the girl, Virginia Gullifrey, or whatever her name is, but he never did time. And then this is another one. Trump asked me to resign. Never a member of Mar-a-Lago. Of course, he knew about the girls, and he asked Ghislaine to stop. So he knew about the girls and asked Ghislaine to stop. Now, here's the thing on this. So is it one of those things where he knew that Epstein was sex trafficking and told him to stop but didn't want to get involved because it would have ruined his business and reputation? Or was he feeling guilty and he had done stuff in the past and didn't want it to be going on anymore. And he asked him to stop. How is this going? That's what I'm saying. So, like, it says right here, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Geseline to stop. However you pronounce her fucking name. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked her to stop. So, were these underage girls? Were these escorts? Were these Asian massage parlor? Are we getting a rub and tug, as it says on another one? Like, what are we doing here? But then, here's the one that I think you should let him hang himself email. So then here's Trump right here. And so they're trying to ask questions about Epstein, but he's not saying anything.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Are you prepared to negotiate with Democrats now? Thank you very much. Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released tonight?
Excuse me. Now, let's continue. There's Candace Owen. She's fucking weird as shit, isn't she? Now, this is the one Democrats released that they said that Trump spent Thanksgiving with Epstein, but then they quickly deleted this because on the day it says that he spent with Epstein, November 23rd, Donald Trump was actually on a Navy vessel giving out Thanksgiving meals to troops or to Navy men. So he did not actually spend time, which now makes me question the validity of some of these in some cases, but not in every case. So then we have here Jeffrey Epstein to Mark Epstein. Who's Mark? Is that his brother? What's your boy Donald up to now? A while back, you had mentioned that you were pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? How are you doing? All good. Bannon with me. Bannon with me? That means Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon with Jeffrey Epstein. Huh. Interesting. Ask him if Putin has the photo of Trump blowing Bubba. And I thought I had Cirrus. I don't know what that is. You and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. You mean Donnie T. Wonder what that reference is. Donnie Trump, but Donnie T. They obviously have nicknames for each other. And then here's a picture of Trump seemingly grabbing Bill Clinton's dick. So. Let's see what else we got here. And then here's the one with Jeffrey Epstein saying that he's going to give information, trying to give it to the Russians. Jeffrey Epstein says to Thorbjörn Jagland, who is, I think, the former foreign minister of Finland, or somewhere in Finland's government. I'll have to recheck that on it. I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov can get insight by talking to me. Vitaly Churkin used to be, but he died. So this is saying that Churkin used to be an informant, but now he's saying that Epstein can be passing information to the Russians about Donald Trump. So this means Epstein was compromised, not Trump. Trump was just doing whatever the fuck, I guess. Then he says, back the Finnish former foreign minister, I'll meet Lavrov's assistant Monday and will suggest, thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come to Unhigh Levels Week. Chukin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. So this right here suggests that Jeffrey Epstein was going to go pass messages to Russia. So that means Epstein was obviously compromised, which does not surprise me either. I guess if there's anyone that we can trust or we can wave this away, it's Donald. Relative president appointment. Trump appointed. What? This is a new one. I am seeing Heidi a little bit. I don't think I will turn into romance. I'm a bit old and not tall enough, but she seems intelligent and kind. Summers got an appointment from Trump. She is on the White House Fellowship Common. It came through Woody and Suzanne Johnson because she bundled Best Jonathan. Careful, she is not trustworthy at all. Who the fuck are they talking about? So something about somebody from Malta. Donald Trump could wave this away, suggesting Donald Trump has a shit ton of power to stop this. And then we have this right here. This is going from talking about the recent hemp ban. Yes, absolutely. I did earlier. The hemp ban is bullshit. Rand Paul was right, and they shouldn't have opened the government without that being taken out. It's going to cut 300,000 jobs, and it's going to stop a lot of health. You need to get as much as possible or work as hard as possible to overturn that piece of shit. Hemp should never be banned, and fuck Mitch McConnell, that turtle fucking ass face. Should have been out of office 20 years ago. Fucking black eye club bitch. Anyway, let's continue. That's my thoughts on the hemp ban. How guilty is Donald? Of surely of gross ignorance. So being crude, ignorant, utterly without intellect, overline on family profiting. He's doing that now. Gross disregard for appearances, of Russia having financial leverage, of Russia helping election. I don't know about all that. But this is between Jeffrey Epstein and redacted. So I don't like the fact that that's redacted. Hell yeah, the third arm charm. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of anything that redacts the names like that, because that tells me, like, it doesn't say who that's going to. Wait, that says, somebody says that's between Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein. So if that's the case, goddamn. Then we got lewd Epstein birthday included a joke about Epstein selling a fully depreciated woman to Trump. Fully depreciated? Yeah, there it is. Women sells fully depreciated blah, blah, blah. So they blanked the name in the face. They blanked the face. There's Jeffrey Epstein with a Trump check. And they blurred the face of the girl. Now, here's your question. I'm going to zoom in. Do you think this girl is of legal age or not? Based on the grainy photo that you can see. Right? Because her face is blurred out. She looks pretty young, don't you think? From what I can tell. Oh, fuck. But anyway, that's that. So, I didn't see that one until just now. Then we got... Trump's counsel. What is this? Mr. Trump's only connection with Epstein was that Epstein was one of 1,000 people who visited Mar-a-Lago. That's it. Trump has never been accused of having any involvement or even having any knowledge of any of Mr. Epstein's conduct by anyone. This was in 2015. Yeah, I think, man, I tell you what, I think that they should lower the ages of alcohol and shit like that in some cases, especially for military. I mean, I know the politicians don't really know what they're doing. So this right here is from from Jeffrey Epstein to Thomas Landon. This says that Trump did nothing wrong at all. So this says Donald Trump did nothing at all. Nothing wrong at all. That's what this email between Jeffrey Epstein and this other guy. So Democrats are making that a fucking weird one. Some. Michael Wolff, I don't trust. Trump claims he cut all ties with Epstein in 2006, but according to Epstein, Trump met him in 2016 and secured a loan for $30 million 6 years after. Trump's longtime friend. FYI, receive many calls a week about both Donald, beauty contest, Mar-a-Lago. My answers are always, I have nothing to say, or I ignore it altogether. So what's that about? Send photos of your child. Hope you're good. Let's catch up. Hope you're well. I probably did it backwards again. Oh well. Photos look good. FYI, I receive many calls a week about Donald, beauty contest, Mar-a-Lago, and Clinton from reporters. Less so recently with Clinton's, but my answer is always I have nothing to say. Few times I have been ambushed in the street with questions. Much more careful now. So is Trump and them trying to get girls to go in beauty pageants? Is that what that was? Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's fucked up. And there's Nick Fuentes. So anyway, that's what we're seeing there. So I don't know what you want me to tell you. So those are some of the emails, or most of the emails. There's a website you can go on that shows all the emails. I don't know. You tell me. It is what it is. Do you think that implicates Trump? Do you think it doesn't implicate Trump? Do you think that, I don't know. What do you think? So just tell me what you think. If you think it's all BS. There's the one telling one is one of the last ones I just read you that says that Trump didn't know anything about it. So did Trump not know anything about it, or did he know stuff about it? Because Epstein in his emails says that he knows about it and he doesn't know about it. So he's just talking out of both sides of his mouth. So looks like bullshit, but I'll still report on it. Anyway, I guess that's it, right? That's the news. I guess I don't know if I'm up late enough, maybe go on TikTok again. But I don't know, not much is happening in the news. And I'm really angry at TikTok. And even though there's less people here tonight, it was still better because TikTok's a bunch of fucking dipshits. I don't know. Anybody else hate TikTok? I mean, I don't know what it is with it, but YouTube just seems better in many cases. I go back and forth on it, but the more the time passes, it's seeming that maybe I should do, I don't know what to say. Just scream at a camera. Love, hate for me. Yeah, it's ridiculous. What about, should I
files that were released of what is left.
Should I pull a Nick Fuentes?
Government after that?
You want me to pull a Nick Fuentes?
That's like something.
Just sit there and talk into a microphone about he's doing right here.
Needs to be subpoenaed by Congress.
That's what I'm doing here. Just, I have my backgrounds are shitty. I need to do a lot better. Anyway, so that's that. So I'll make my news on TikTok. I'll put all the videos up here, of course, like I always do. And I'll try to make more high quality videos by getting better footage. I just haven't. So I need to put more effort into YouTube because frankly speaking, TikTok kind of sucks dick. It just does. I know I have 20 times the followers on TikTok, but sucks dick. So anyway, I'll be back somewhere, either here or there tomorrow. All that shit. Heart their stream or thumbs up it. Gift and become a member here on YouTube. Definitely membership, whatever it is. Don't forget to subscribe if you're here. Hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing to subscribe. So subscribe here on YouTube. And if you don't like me, mute me and block me, whatever, and go fuck yourself. And we'll try to be back here on YouTube more. So news has been kind of, hasn't it lately? We've had like a week of just penis floppy. So take it easy, B Vance, and we'll be back here tomorrow or somewhere else. If you don't like me, see you later. Bye. Go fuck yourself. Wonderful.